Hello, hello, hello. It's nearly 32 degrees in Locktown, so you will hear the sound of the fan. The UK has registered its hottest day, I think 39 degrees. Hooray! For it is the 19th of July 2022. Let this go down in history, but we're talking Better Call Saul. I've remembered the prop this time. Episode 9, series season 6, and this one's called Fun and Games. Though there's not much fun and games in it. It's quite a miserable episode. The last few episodes have not been fun, and this isn't. There's no fun in this at all. It opens. I've got to say spoilers because we're talking about plot points. So if you haven't seen it, you better go and watch it. But yeah, it was a miserable episode. Opens with the sign being installed. Saul Goodman and Associates. Because this is the episode. This is the episode where Jimmy is dead. Jimmy dies. There is a lot of endings. Lots of endings in this. Lots of endings. But then action shifts to Gus turning up at Don Eladio's compound for the big brouhaha, the big meeting. And they're all there, everyone's there. Hector, the cousins, Balsa, he's there. And of course they're talking about Lalo. I always like to call him Lalo, because he did. And what's happened? Now again, Lalo, his scheme was so effective that everyone thinks he's dead, except Hector, because of the phone call, but he can't prove anything. And so this is why he hates the chicken man. But again, Don Eladio, he has to have the wisdom of Solomon. He just wants peace. And so it's like, well, what can I do? What can I do? And he notices the registration of Gus's hate for him. He said, a little hate is good. You're right. Yeah? But this is at the poolside where his partner was killed all those years previously. So Gus is still stinging. He hates them all. He wants to take them all out. And he is the outsider, remember. And he's taking over bit by bit. And Don Eladio says, you can have the north, they'll have the south, and never the twain shall meet. And so now we know why Hector hates him so much. These plot lines are laid down quite well. And we also see that, I think, again, Don Eladio is becoming a little bit exasperated by Hector's behaviour. Because to them, he's turning into that crazy old man with the bell, you know. Then we move to Gus goes home and he meets with Mike, and you can see Mike's not in a good mood. He has been affected by Howard's demise. It's never about him. He knows where he's at, but he wants to redeem himself. Mike's, he's open to redemption and putting things right the best he can. And so, after a little bit of consideration, again looking at his granddaughter's playthings, he heads over to Nacho's father to tell him, well, what goes on. But it doesn't go how he expects it to go, because he is dismissive of Mike, and he says, you're all gangsters, you're all the same, there's no justice for you people, my son is dead, and it's never going to stop. And he's right, because that's what crime is like that. And I think it was a gut punch for Mike. It's like, there's no redemption arc for you. It's finished for you now. You are one of them. And that's something that Mike's got to, he's got to live with. There is no redemptive arc for him. And then there's a curious scene with Gus. He's at a restaurant, a bar, and he strikes up a conversation with his favourite. Is it a sommelier, I guess? And they talk about wine. And there's a bit of flirting going on. Now, I've always said that Gus is gay. It was writ large. I mean, his business partner, is it Max, who gets killed at Don Eladio's compound all those years previously. I think they were more than business partners, if you know what I mean, because it stung. He's really held on to this murder And I said, I don't get it. It explains the character, I think. And they're kind of flirting with each other over wine, and they're getting on. It could be just a friendship blossoming, but Gus's face falls to stone again as he realises he's getting too close to someone. He can never get close to anyone because they'll find out who he really is. And there's a sense of, again, a bit like Mike, they're at the same point of exasperation. They don't want to be doing this anymore. They want to have the friendships. They want to put things right. But for Gus, he's too far in. He's in the empire building game. And so he leaves early and doesn't continue his conversation with the sommelier, David. And then we return to HHM, the offices of Hamlin McGill, for a memorial event for Howard. And this is a really hard scene because Jimmy says to Kim, we can do this. 20 minutes, we're out. We can do this, because they're still pretending everything's okay. But there's even though they're talking, they talk to Schweikart, and he says, well, this is all over. This is finished. They're moving downtown. These offices are closing. It's not even been called HHM anymore. And I don't know if it registered with Jimmy. Well, not only did he manage to wipe out Howard's legacy, but he's also managed to wipe out Chuck's legacy as well. The Hamlin McGill name is gone now from the Albuquerque neighbourhood, removed, forgotten, and that's why it's never mentioned in Breaking Bad. Very clever bit of writing that, because without that key person, it's changed. It's something else, isn't it? Without that familial connection, it's all gone. It's all gone. And then we come to the confrontation between Kim and Jimmy with Howard's widow, Cheryl. And she's like, he was never on drugs, because she knew her husband. Okay, they'd had a falling out. There was something going on, and I think it's because of what was going on with Jimmy. And she brings that up, that hey, you were harassing him, and what was going on with that. And you actually see Jimmy be honest. There's an act of contrition where he says, yeah, I was jealous of him. There was a bit of professional jealousy there, and he basically admits going too far to her. But then Kim tells a massive whopper, tells a massive lie. And that's the difference between the two people. I do believe that Jimmy wants to do good, whereas Kim wants to do bad. They're yin and yang. And together, as Kim mentions later on, they're dangerous. They are dangerous people. And Cheryl's not convinced at all. Not convinced at all. But, again, their lie, a bit like Lalo's lie, is so convincing that nobody believes her. She's the lone voice of dissent. And it's a tragedy. It's terrible. It's terrible what they did. And, Kim kind of leaves Jimmy standing. She drives off, kisses him and leaves. And that's it. That's the end of their relationship. It's a key pivotal point in the show. It's more important than what comes after, because it's over. That's the final lie. She knows she's gone too far, but she's also aroused by it. She's like, this is good. I liked it being like this, but she knows she can't be like it. And then Kim quits. She's out. She quits as an attorney, and she's going. And Jimmy runs back and pleads with her to stay. And she says, no, we're bad. And Jimmy says, but, I didn't kill Howard. Well, you did. You indirectly did, because if you hadn't done any of this stuff, he wouldn't have been there. He wouldn't have been killed. You wouldn't have made up that terrible lie. And his name would have been taken off the building, and, there would have still been... the Hamlins would still be around. But they are responsible. We're all responsible for our actions, and even how tenuous sometimes the threads run through, because he had no need to be there if they hadn't have done any of the things that they'd done. And Kim says, well, we're bad for each other, and I'm out. And she quits. And that's the end. She doesn't die. She leaves. She has a breakdown, like I predicted, because it is a breakdown. It is a mental breakdown. It is a I can't do this anymore, run away breakdown. It's not a, in the funny farm, which I thought might be the more extreme way of interpreting it. But it is a breakdown. It's a breakdown of her as a person. It's a breakdown of her as a professional. It's a breakdown of their relationship. It is fractured, irreparable. And then, as predicted, we do the time jump. We do the time warp. Let's do the time warp again. And we jump to Jimmy in his big mansion. He's paying women for their time because he doesn't want to fall in love, because he's loved and he's lost, and he doesn't want to do that. Help yourself to a breakfast bar. He doesn't cook breakfast anymore because he only cooks breakfast for one person, and that's the person he loves, and she's gone. And he's put that behind him. He's now Saul Goodman, because to be Jimmy is to embrace the pain of losing Kim. It's the pain of the whole Howard Chuck situation, and I do believe he's affected by it. I just think he's burying it. And he is Saul Goodman, and you see him journeying to his office, quick firing his way there, going in, seeing Francesca, and taking his seat behind his desk. And that's how the episodes end, because we are now caught up. We are now in the Breaking Bad universe. Where does it go from here? Where does it go from here? Well, we could get a few episodes of him dealing with, from his perspective, dealing with Walt and Jesse and the fallout from that. We may see more of his interactions with Gus Fring and Mike. We may see more of that. We may see what I'd like is to see the whole Breaking Bad story from his perspective. And they can do that pretty quickly. I can do that maybe in an episode, in a single episode. And, seeing as we've only got, how many episodes are there left? We've only got 4 episodes left. So, yeah, we could do that. And then we could jump forward to the Gene Tadjevich, Cinnabon. And we know why he's there, because that's where Kim comes from. That's why Kim comes from. He's what he's hoping. He's hoping that their paths cross. That's why he's there, because he's looking for his partner in crime. He needs direction. He needs to be fulfilled. And maybe when he finds her, she convinces him to hand himself in, because that's how he'll become Jimmy again. At the end of this, I'm predicting, because it is a love affair, it is a love story, I'm predicting that Jimmy finds Kim, or Kim even finds Jimmy in that respect, because of the cabbie. And I don't know, maybe she convinces him to do his time. And that way Saul Goodman dies and Jimmy is redeemed, and there's at least one happy ending. I mean, it could go the completely opposite way. It could be a horrible bloodbath. But I've been saying this for a long time, that this is about love. This show is about love and redemption. We've already seen that, today with the Mike thing. He wants redemption. He doesn't get it, so he kind of just muddles along. Even Gus is tired of his role. He's defeated his biggest enemy, and he's seriously considering quitting, and just maybe I can quit. Maybe we can stop. And then reality brings him back. He can't quit. And maybe Jimmy gets the one shot of redemption. I'd like that. But not in this show. Who knows where it's going to go? But I don't think we've seen the last of Kim Wexler. And maybe she's gone back and she's looking after her mother, huh? Maybe, because she was just looking after her mother. Yeah. So that was it. That was fun and games, even though it was pretty depressing and pretty miserable. And again, poor old Howard. Legacy was completely smashed beyond all recognition, because him and his wife don't have any children. But who knows? Maybe Cheryl Hamlin is out for revenge. Maybe it's a subplot. Maybe she's so riled up by them that she digs deeper. And maybe she's the one who employs the cabbie to find to find Jimmy. You know, maybe she is out for revenge. Remember, they introduce characters for reasons in this show, and they sometimes it's quite pointed of why these people are here. And maybe he doesn't give up. Maybe he has to go to jail kicking and screaming. Maybe, I don't know. I think he's broken now. I think he is broken as Gene. He's and he's finding his life running very hard. So yeah, that's it. That's been episode 9. We've only got 4 episodes left. My God, I just think, you know, in a month's time it'll all be over. August 15th. It's all over. Until we get the Yule spin-off, of course. Anyway, you better call Saul. Thank you for watching. God, Odenkirk looks a lot younger there. They couldn't de-age any of them. Most of the budget would have been spent on de-aging Mike, wouldn't it? You know? But hopefully you've enjoyed this. If you haven't, I can't help it. There'll be another great video along in your suggestions in a minute. Probably not done by me. And that's it. I don't know what thing of saying that is. Ta-da!